Are we missing out? That is a question that I asked myself a couple of days ago when I was reassembling my computer. I needed a new case, therefore I had to pick the old, let's say, intestines parts out of the old case, reassemble it into a new case. I probably need a new main board. And because I have an old main board and an old CPU, I can't buy simply just another new main board because they aren't produced anymore because it's old. Because I need a new main board, I need a new CPU, and therefore this will be a much more expensive thing than I initially thought. And then came the thought to my mind, what would happen if all new technology would be released with new sockets, new adapters, all new things to be more fitted to the new technology, better speed, better maintenance. What would it cost to make everything new in your whole life? Let's say, for example, your phone. If it's get a new socket, or electrical sockets. What would happen if there were new sockets which are more efficient, or safer, better? You need to replace almost every electronic device in your life, or buy a shit ton of adapters. You can't simply do that from one day to another, let's be real here. But I'm pretty sure that there are technologies outside that would allow this progress. To be more efficient, to be more eco-friendly. So I just wonder how much are we missing out just because everything is in our lives are normed. I have another example from a dear friend of mine who a couple of weeks ago needed a new oven. And where I live, the sockets for the ovens used to be a different type than our normal sockets. There's much more power which is needed, which used to be needed to power oven. The newer ovens are much more efficient and therefore don't need the socket anymore. So she didn't need that. So when the oven arrived and she and her husband were building the new oven in, they realized, oh shit, we need another socket. We need another whole nother cables in the walls, and they had to call an electrician to do that for them before they even could use the new oven again. And again, it's because change is made on things that are normed. And again, I wonder on how much better technology are we missing out just because everything in our life is normed. We have so many SD card adapters, because every time we buy a new micro SD card, there's always this adapter with it, because all the devices that you use the card on has an SD slot, not a micro SD. For example, this very camera here. I probably need a new SD card because the one that is in is very old. And again, I'll buy a micro SD card because it's cheaper and use an adapter, because this camera doesn't have a micro SD slot. I'm not here for answering this question on how much are we missing out, but just a little thought for you out there. Think about when CDs first appeared. Those cassettes, when SD cards first appeared, you didn't need any more cassettes for your camera. When CDs appeared, you didn't need those old cassettes to play music. When CDs are a technology killer. I just realized that. And imagine all the things that needed to be changed just because there's some new technology out there. Not for us, the end customers, but for the factories, for the production, what a hustle it would be to order new machines or new molds for different things, maybe new metals, or generally speaking, everything needed to be redone, rethunk. And maybe we simply don't see this whole new technology things because it would be such a hustle and so expensive, and the amount of work which it would require to replace everything, and the amount of money it would be immersed. And maybe we don't seeing those technologies because they are not worth it yet. Because let's be real, every day there are new inventions out there, and I believe truly there's a whole world of technology being held from us, not because it would be too dangerous or too something, but because it would be too expensive to replace the old thing with the new. All those possibilities we do not have because everything is normed. And it's not necessarily a critique, don't get me wrong, because if I think about how many things I would need to replace in my life just because there's something new is incredible, and I'm glad that I don't have to do that, don't get me wrong. But yeah, just the thought of it was just a little mind-blowing for me. So I wanted to share that thought with you. And yeah, maybe you can tell me your thoughts about this topic in the comments down below. So thank you for listening to my ramble here, to my TED talk. But yeah, thank you for listening, and have a day.